What up, fight fans? This is Square Circle Productions, and I'm coming in with my new rant. This one is football related. This is for the AFC and the NFC conference finals, conference championships. Just gonna get right to it. In the Arizona Cardinals Carolina Panthers game, I'm going with Carolina. Feel like they're the stronger team. Look like they've been more impressive now. Arizona to me don't pose as much of a threat. I mean, I don't, they went in deep waters, and I think they about to drown. I think Carolina about to pull them under. Over in the AFC, really, man, I'm a Chiefs fan, dude, so I can't stand Denver. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand the Denver Broncos, but I see them play twice a year at least, against my team. And, and it's always been an intense rivalry. Only thing worse than that would be the Chiefs versus the Raiders. That's a whole different story. But, I mean, as far as the more meaningful games, with something actually on the line, first place in the division on the line, or a playoff spot, or something of that nature, the edge goes to Denver. But I can't stand Denver. But right now, I ain't really feeling the Patriots either. And as much as I'd hate to see either one of them go, right now, the Patriots look like the stronger of the two. So that's who I'm picking to emerge and go to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be Carolina Panthers against the Denver Broncos. And I'm picking Carolina to win that one. I'm going to do a Super Bowl preview video next week. Or possibly even the night before the Super Bowl. But that's going to be on some other stuff. Check my playlist and look for a video called Super Bowl 49 Racial Implications. And then I made a second one called the addendum to that video. It's not what you think. But this year is going to be somewhat along that theme. But keeping it football right now, Denver does have a chance to beat New England, but right now, on paper and how it's been, how the playoffs have played out, I think that New England is the stronger of the two. But it's just a matter of which Denver shows up, because at one point in the season, I hate to admit it, Denver and Green Bay were the two best teams in the league. Hands down. It wasn't even close. Like the first 8-9 weeks of the season, Denver, nobody was playing better ball than Denver and New England. I mean, oh my God. Denver and Green Bay. Man, let me correct that quick. Now, New England didn't have too bad of a record either, but they really hadn't played nobody that was tested. I mean, you look at Denver's schedule, you look at Green Bay's schedule, they played some hitters. I mean, hell, the Chiefs played both of them back-to-back, and it was really good games. I mean, the Chiefs really stunk it up in the Green Bay game. But it wasn't so much that we stunk it up, because they actually did make a comeback towards the end of the game. But Aaron Rodgers played a flawless game. I think that was week 3. We played them, man, and on a Monday night game, man, and Aaron Rodgers made no mistakes that game. I mean, he was damn near perfect. I mean, that's how you for his style of quarterback, that was the perfect game for a quarterback. I mean, he really, really, really did the thing and did it well. And he didn't look hurried. He didn't look pressured at any point in the game. I mean, the dude was just unshakable. I mean, it was amazing. I was like, wow. And then I kept watching both of them teams. And as the weeks went on, I'm like, hell, man, they play each other. I'm like, shoot, neither one of them going to have their first loss until they play each other. And that's when we're going to find out who's the better of the two. And Denver emerged victorious. And Denver was still able to win, I think, their next 2 games, I think. But immediately after that, Green Bay fell apart. I mean, I think the next 4 games, they lost 3 of the next 4. And really was mediocre in the rest of the season, you know. And barely made it into the playoffs. You know, had a chance to win the division the last week of the season and still couldn't beat Minnesota. Minnesota wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good either. I mean, how do you know, the first 8-9 weeks of the season be like the second, arguably the best team in the league and just fall apart? Now, meanwhile, New England was doing well. Carolina was doing excellent, undefeated. And I believe Arizona was undefeated at that time too. But I didn't really consider neither one of them a real threat. I mean, New England because of name only, but hell, they hadn't played nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really even sweating them. But, I mean, had a crazy season. And if you watched my other video I made about 2 weeks ago, I was telling you I wasn't really worried about none of them teams in the playoffs this year. And I felt like the Chiefs had a really good chance to make it. Nobody scared me. Nobody was scary to me. You know, it wasn't, this is the first year in a while where it really has not really clear cut, you know, who's going to be the heads-on favorite. I mean, I know the odds makers and, you know, prognosticators, you know, and different people, you know, are putting favorites or had favorites or whatnot. But, I mean, honestly, just from how I watch the game and how I see things, man, ain't nobody just impressed me with just being heads and shoulders above the rest. You know, Carolina, the question mark was, well, they ain't never really been this far. Can they keep it up? Okay. And so far they have. And they don't look like they about to lay an egg. You know, because they started out strong against Seattle. Seattle did come raging back, but they've been too little too late, you know. I mean, if you look at it, it's been a pattern, too, during this whole playoffs. Like, the first week of the playoffs, the wild card round, all the road teams won. You know. Then, last weekend, it was, every game was close, was decided by a touchdown or less. You know. And I don't know what the trend is going to be this week, but I believe both games are going to be similar, leading up to the Super Bowl. But if the Denver from the first 9 weeks shows up, they'll smash New England. But that's not likely. It's a lot of stuff going on in Denver. I really don't know. So any of you Broncos fans, if you feel like hollering at somebody that's a diehard Chiefs fan, and I don't know bullshit, I ain't about to be sitting here on no old bullshit, but if anybody can, that's a Denver fan that knows what's going on, the real dirt, the dirt that's going on within that organization, please leave a comment and inform me, because I would really like to know. But I can read the handwriting on the wall, and Peyton Manning's out of there. I mean, that was evident. Only reason why they even really put him back in was that last, I think, that Monday night game against Cincinnati. That was for first place. Because when New England lost, I believe it was to Buffalo. I think it was Buffalo beat them. Somebody beat them Sunday. That Monday night, that opened the door for Denver. If they won, then Denver will get first place, home field advantage. If Denver lost, then we would be first place in the AFC West going into the last week, and it would be ours to lose all we had to do was just beat the Raiders, and then we got the division on lock, and we're the third seed in the playoffs. So, it was interesting. But in that game, Cincinnati, man, with Andy Dalton getting hurt, AJ McCarron they started off decent, man, and they let Denver come back in that game. And part of it was because Osweiler wasn't really doing that much, and they had to put it. I was about to say Elway. They had to put Peyton Manning in. They just had to because it was too much at stake. And no way you cannot not play the guy. He gives you the best chance to win, no matter what. No matter whatever's been going on with him this season, he's clearly not himself, and I really, from what I'm seeing, they're not happy with it. And like I said, you Denver people probably know all the dirt in the media, in the local media and stuff. So, and whatever y'all talk about on y'all local sports radio shows. So, like I said, if you want to fill me in, give me the 411 on what's going on with y'all team, I'll be open to hear it. But I knew they was going to play him if dude wasn't able to get the ball moving. But if they hadn't been able to keep drives going with Osweiler, Manning wouldn't have came in the game. But it was too much at stake, so they had to play dude. Okay, that being said, Pittsburgh, to be honest with you, last week's matchup should have been the Chiefs against the Broncos. Let's just keep it real. It should have been the Chiefs against the Broncos and the Patriots against the Bengals. The Bengals blew it in their Steelers game. Steelers won the game, but that was more like a moral victory. Beating a divisional opponent like that. They know what to do to beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati, for the most part, even though they've been a much improved team and they've been chomping at the bit for a few years here, is still, that division has pretty much always been between the Steelers and the Ravens. And Cincinnati, finally edged out Pittsburgh. But it ain't like Pittsburgh can't beat them. And they really beat themselves in that game. But I'm not taking nothing away from Pittsburgh. But, I mean, if you want to give them the game, I know what that's like. Because the Chiefs gave the Broncos that game in week 2. So, I still don't understand why they tried to run Jamal Charles at the end of the game with 26 seconds left in the game. From your own 20. Tie game. You might as well just take a knee and go into overtime. But, like I said, he fumbles and they just run it in for a touchdown. Everybody's shocked. But, now, man, be honest with you, Pittsburgh, with Roethlisberger banged up, no way Denver should have ran away with it. But yet and still, Pittsburgh was leading and controlling most of the game. And my homeboy was like, well, if you really look at it, Denver was never out of the game. And I'm like, well, when was they really in the game? They wasn't really in the game till they went ahead, And that was like damn near at the end of the damn game. So, like I said, Pittsburgh had every chance and they kind of just blew it at the end, But to be honest with you, Pittsburgh shouldn't even have been there. It should have been Kansas City against Denver for the third time. And it should have been Cincinnati and New England. So it is what it is. But right now, the way it's looking, it looks like New England's going to get on by and beat Denver. They're going to do just enough to beat Denver and get in the Super Bowl. And I'm expecting Carolina to wax that ass in the Super Bowl. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I believe it will. I got some other theories on that too. Like I said, that's another video for another week. But, like I said, enjoy the games tomorrow. And I'll holler at you depending on the outcome. Peace out. One love.